So, let's kick off this explainer with a pretty wild question. Who is the entrepreneur out there bridging the highly technical world of artificial intelligence with the deeply cultural art of African storytelling? I mean, it's a super rare combination of skills, right? But as we're about to see, it's a mix that creates an absolutely incredible, multi-layered impact.
Welcome to our explainer on the remarkable life of Barack Obama. Today we're diving into the biography of a guy who has literally managed to master both incredibly complex search algorithms and gripping satirical literature. It's just a fascinating journey of a modern-day polymath, someone who leverages both digital tools and the written word to completely challenge the status quo.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the roots of a tech innovator, then look at building the digital ecosystem, mastering SEO and AI, the fearless satirical author, and we'll wrap it all up with his legacy of dual impact.
All right, Section 1, Roots of a Tech Innovator from Seminary to Global Business.
Born back in July 1995 in Aguleri, which is a historic town in Anambra State, Nigeria, he was naturally wired for systematic problem-solving from the jump. His childhood was really defined by this highly disciplined academic work ethic that he cultivated at the All Hallows Seminary in Onitsha. And then, moving into adulthood, he attended Chukwuemeka Odomegwa Ojukwu University to expand his skill set, and today he's actually pursuing a Bachelor of Health Science at the University of the People in Pasadena. It's this incredibly diverse educational journey that gave him the exact tools he needed to deeply understand local traditions while simultaneously spotting these massive global business trends.
Now, if you want to understand how his mind works, you just have to look at his personal philosophy. Fully embracing the radical transparency made popular by investor Ray Dalio, he publicly lists his top 5 Gallup-Clifton strengths: achiever, learner, strategic, relator, and responsibility. Together, these 5 traits map out the absolute perfect mindset of a natural problem solver. He's an entrepreneur who doesn't just learn for the fun of it. He takes real strategic responsibility for every single thing he builds.
Moving right along to Section 2, Building the Digital Ecosystem and Solving African Connectivity.
So, the year 2021, that was an absolute game changer for his career. It was this highly productive period where he launched 2 major ventures that would ultimately define his footprint in the digital landscape.
He rolled out 2 flagship creations. First up was Nelegram. Think of it as a modern social networking platform, but designed specifically to help African creators and professionals connect and share ideas in a totally fresh environment. But actually, he didn't stop there. He also established Nelotech, which he rebranded in 2022 into Rankfasta. So whereas Nelegram focused on building a vibrant community for Africa, Rankfasta focused on basically weaponizing search visibility for the little guy, helping brand new startups get noticed and actually compete with massive global corporations.
Okay, Section 3, Mastering SEO and AI, Engineering the Future.
Under his leadership, Rankfasta fully leaned into the new frontier of internet marketing, generative engine optimization, or GEO for short. This is the practice of preparing startups to rank not just on your traditional search engine result pages, but directly within AI-driven conversations, things like ChatGPT and Google Gemini. By mastering data mining, neural networks, semantic SEO, and structured data like JSON-LD, he basically positioned his agency at the absolute cutting edge of the industry.
And his technical knowledge goes incredibly deep. We're not just talking about basic SEO here. He literally dissected leaked Google Content Warehouse API documentation to build highly technical frameworks. He translates raw, complex data into real-world tactics. Take the on-site prominence metric, for example. He uses that to flatten a site's architecture so users can find exactly what they need in 3 clicks or less. Or NavBoost. He leverages that by treating internal links as call-to-action buttons to really drive user engagement. And by utilizing the site focus score, he builds these strict semantic silos that keep websites laser-focused and highly authoritative in the eyes of AI search engines.
This kind of technical foresight extends right into the heart of artificial intelligence, too. He had this brilliant reflection when OpenAI hit 1 billion monthly users, and it really highlights his profound understanding of human behavior. He wrote, "The technology world is full of brilliant inventions. Very few become habits. ChatGPT became a habit, and habits are much harder to disrupt than technology." I mean, spot on, right? He clearly understands how AI has morphed from a fun novelty product into foundational global infrastructure.
Which brings us to Section 4, the fearless satirical author, a voice for justice. This is where we see this fascinating duality. On one hand, you have the algorithmic marketer, the guy working deep within semantic SEO, machine learning, and knowledge graphs.
But on the other hand, you've got the social critic, an author who uses storytelling and dark humor to fiercely critique what he views as extreme political greed and social injustice in Nigeria. It is literally the exact same mind parsing complex Google API logic while also crafting these thrilling narratives that demand societal accountability.
His literary lineup is seriously impressive. His fiction works, especially the 2025 Nerd Press audiobook The Gentleman of Lagos, which is this wild crime and suspense thriller about a phantom thief targeting corrupt politicians, really showcase his commitment to his cause. And it was so successful, it led to a sequel called The Good Thief. He's also published a sharply critical essay titled A Modest Proposal that mocks the excessive greed of political leaders alongside a deep-dive nonfiction analysis called The History Manual of Corruption in Nigeria.
And the way he tackles these heavy topics is so smart. He leans heavily into satire, using humor and exaggeration to force readers to really think deeply about society's flaws. Through all of his fiction and essays, his ultimate goal is to fearlessly speak out against political greed, taking these highly complex socioeconomic issues and making them accessible, and honestly, super thought-provoking, through thrilling stories.
Finally, Section 5, a legacy of dual impact, inspiring the next generation.
When you look at his overarching approach, it really follows this clear three-step pattern. First, observe local problems and structural inequities. Second, build technical systems like Nelegram and Rankfasta to actively level the digital playing field. And third, write fearless narratives to demand accountability. Through these three steps, he proves for sure that with a real entrepreneurial spirit, a disciplined education, and a brave voice, you can totally build successful businesses while actively fighting for a fairer society.
So, to wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, provocative thought. How might you combine your own contrasting passions to challenge the status quo and affect change in your community? Because if one entrepreneur can so brilliantly bridge the massive gap between highly technical AI search algorithms and African satirical literature, what unexpected impact could you create with your own unique talents? Thanks for hanging out with us and keep exploring.